Jochen and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn one.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. It's not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps of Scotch?
We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport.
Crymsun and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As we go back up the hill towards the Schumacher end, Nils Kor clips the back at 10, Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, and it hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars. Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Which way does he go? He goes to the right. Silas goes to the left. Across the line. It's going to be. Which one's it going to be in sixth? Tim's going to get him to the line. He's not going to get it. Oh no, Pete Newman's around.
Pretty tight. Jake back all round the outside. He's going to keep it there, and now he's going to be on the inside.
Okay, Simon Price sees a gap in the middle, decides that no, that would be mental. Big accident, Simon. Cam Dance wins. Silas Craig Frolic wins. Jake Blackhall wins. Cranstone to take the win on his Jesper Eriksson. Two-time champion of the CDM Formula One World Championship is Cam Dance. And what a fantastic race. Amazing. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to round number 6 of the CDM Formula One World Championship, sponsored by Bottled of Scotch Racing and Derbyshire Holiday Homes. We're here at the gloomy yet wonderful Donington Park, a circuit that just weekend gone hosted the British GT Championship season opener. I know many people were there, and let me tell you, the weather conditions were very different to what we're going to be seeing here tonight. You've got myself, Chaz Draycott, and Ed May up in the commentary box. Ed, we've had a great season of Formula One so far. We've gotten to the halfway point now. It's nice and close in the points, and well, what a great circuit Donington is for the first race, at least, in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it never disappoints racing around here at Donington Park, and these little Pro Mazdas never disappoint either, so I think we are in for a real treat of an evening, as we obviously have some championship standings to look through, like you mentioned earlier, close as ever up at the top, but we are starting to get a bit of a breakaway, aren't we, out from the front pairing.
Yeah, we absolutely are, and it's Jesper Eriksson and Sam Fitzpatrick that are the lead pair at the moment. 5 points between the two after Sam's fantastic victory at Jerez, a very action-packed race. Aaron Smith and Jack Reeve were both hit with penalties after that race as well, which has affected their charge in the championship. Jake Cranstone's great second place got him some wonderful points for Jordan Mugen Honda. He's ahead of Aaron, and then Taylor Adams and his teammate Lee Aberdeen find themselves in 5th and 6th. But it is mighty close. There's still drop scores to think about as well. And importantly for Jake Cranstone, he's going to get some points out of tonight despite not being here. There has been a tidy up in the team's championship points as well. And at the moment, with it being 79-73 Williams to Benetton, that may change, because anybody that comes in as a reserve driver now, thanks to the help of Ben Chalcraft, who runs the spreadsheet that puts all of these points together, we basically have found a way to close that loophole now so that we don't have reserve drivers making a sort of massive impact into what the teams score. Still, I'm excited for this one, Ed. It's just about time now to get into qualifying, and we'll have to see what the drivers have got in store for us with this one-shot format.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, there's some interesting storylines actually emerging in practice as well. I was just seeing that Lee Aberdeen, fastest of the bunch in that McLaren. Maybe we're starting to see it this halfway point of the season. Lee finally able to unlock what he had in the pre-qualifying. Everything seems pretty quick here tonight, but it'll be a while before we get to see him out on circuit. As first onto the road, Francois Brandet And I think in behind him is that the 23 of Simon Price. Yes, it is.
It is absolutely Simon Price in the Minardi. Minardi very, very happy, of course, after Catalunya, because after of Jerez, sorry. After the penalties applied to Aaron Smith and Jack Reeve, it meant that Minardi have scored their first championship point of the season. So now they are on the single point, but Connor Hatfield scored that one. And it means now that they are at least ahead of Tyrrell going into this next round and into the second half of the season. Francois Brandet is looking for a little bit more luck here tonight. He had a great night yesterday, though, in the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge, so I know that he's going to be a bit fired up to try and get some points here. But this circuit, similar to Jerez, Ed, is quite a high-speed track, isn't it, to try and get the better of. It's not a forgiving place to go racing, is Donington.
No, never is. Obviously, we've got this chicane, which I think we might see quite a few drivers maybe just overstep the limits on a touch and get themselves a slowdown or, an invalidation of their lap. And obviously, with the one-shot format, it's so unforgiving. You cannot afford any mistakes because you'll be starting right at the back, and that's not what you want here at Donington, to get caught up in the pack, in the battles, all the way through the grid. It's just maybe about getting as high up the order and leaving all of that mess in behind. On board with Francois Brandet then, as he starts up his first flying lap of the session. Francois is a driver that definitely seems to be finding his form, certainly in the GT4s, isn't he, Chaz? We saw him have a great time out of things at Sebring just a week ago, or just a day ago, wasn't it?
We did, we absolutely did. And he'll be very fired up, like I say, for this one. I need to do a bit of housekeeping here, so if you'll all forgive me for just a second, we'll go in and we need to do this again, don't we? Like we saw last time. I need to do the is in cockpit camera, which changes things. It affects the shadows very strangely, but yeah, this is something that I should have kept on last time. I wonder if this... Yeah, look, it affects too much there if you do that. Sorry, I'm doing this live on air right now, just so everybody can see what's going on here with the cameras and so on. But thanks to, I believe it was Yain Stitchbury pointed out the difference in the onboard camera last time. Not quite sure what it's done to the shadows there, but it certainly looks like the car is floating. That's a bit of an issue because it looks like it's sort of away from the ground. Still, it'll be right now. Francois Brandet has had 2 purple sectors on his lap. We often do see, though, don't we, Ed, that it's after about 2 or 3 laps that the drivers actually tend to get their quickest times on the board.
Yeah, so the driver's not really operating under the optimum tyre temperatures for their flying laps. It just means that they need to be so much more dialed in to the way the car is responding to how it is sort of feeling beneath them. Francois Brandet, first time of the evening, 1 minute 25.74. Simon Price, has he had a moment here on this lap?
Yeah.
He's way off the pace.
Yeah, I think he's had a spin here. I think as he was coming down the hill on his opening lap, he's going to go off here at the old hairpin. Oh, it gets away from him, under brakes, and it's a big high-speed spin for Simon Price. So unfortunately, no time for him. Francois Brandet on the provisional pole after setting the first time. His teammate Rob Lundgren is now the next one to have a go at a lap round here. You can hear the car roaring away, making a good old racket. And Rob really trying to throw it in as hard as he can at turn 1. That might have invalidated the lap time, in fairness. That was quite a wide run out of there. And again, it's one that's easily done, isn't it, at Redgate, the first corner here, because it's quite a late apex, and you always seem to think you've got a lot more area to sort of push the car on the exit, and, well, you don't.
You really don't. Again, the track is sort of deceptively narrow at points. Obviously, it feels wider because of how far away the barriers are from the sort of circuit, how much green open grass there is as a runoff area. But the track itself, the tarmac, is really quite narrow, and it doesn't necessarily seem like it is, at least in these Pro Mazdas, just from how thin and narrow and sort of almost dainty they are. It's a really tricky circuit to hot lap just because of, well, obviously here it's a little bit wider, but through all the corners it's just so tight.
It really is. This is one of the tightest corners on the circuit as well, into the hairpin. A very, very tricky part of the track to get right. Rob nice and tidy on the exit. He is short shifting though, so I believe he's backed out of this lap, unfortunately. onto the brakes he goes now into the hairpin. He should continue on because it really helps the guys out, but he's not actually going to go past the pit lane. So maybe that'll get communicated, though. We'd have to thank Matt Hoyland and Martin Kenyon, who are in the session and choreographing the laps. We do ask the guys that if they haven't put a valid time on the board, they do continue. And John Tusting goes quickest. Now we've got 2 cars waiting at the end of the pit lane. Alex Fretwell should be told to head out onto the circuit in just a minute, because we've got Philip Miles just heading past, and Connor Hatfield. There is Connor. Very well done to him for getting the first point for Minardi. And then Philip Miles, as Ben Chalcraft has rightly said in the chat, a bit of a tough one this for Phil, because he's going to be qualifying on his very first lap of the night. Now, let's just make sure. Yes, Alex Fretwell has been told to go, so that's good.
Unfortunate there, but that's just the way things go. You can see, though, yeah, Connor Hatfield definitely is going to be trying to maybe get an extra point onto Minardi's tally, because he certainly was very impressive. And it was a shame that he didn't get it on the road, because his racing at Jerez definitely warranted that extra little point, didn't it? And it was close at points. I thought for a minute, was he going to do it? But then, obviously, with the post-race stewarding that took place, finally saw that result go his way.
Yeah, so it's him and Philip Miles at the moment. We've got a purple sector 2 from Connor, so he's got potential to put it on pole here. A little bit of a wiggle on the exit of the hairpin. This is one of the trickiest corners in these cars, because the circuit gets away from you. It goes downhill over a crest. It's a blind apex. He really pushes it, uses all the road, keeps it over to the right, so he clearly knows that this is quick. It's not a purple final sector, and he's just behind John Tusting. Doesn't quite beat the arrows to pole position, as Philip has a bit of a wobble out the last corner. What's his time going to be? Is that quick enough for third at least? No, it's a second off at the moment, but as we've mentioned, quite fairly to Philip as well, it's his very first lap of the night that. He's not been around for practice, he's only just got into the session, so yeah, he's certainly not had the time that the rest of the guys have had. We ride on board now with Alex Fretwell, an exciting addition to the championship. Unfortunately, he was on the receiving end of a little bip from Aaron Smith at Jerez. Well, that looks like a much more convincing turn 1, doesn't it, Ed? That looked quick.
Yeah, really impressive already. With Fretwell now in towards the old hairpin. Look at that confidence carrying the momentum through, but again, careful not to run wide. He could have taken maybe a touch more speed through there, but chose to a little bit more caution to get this lap on the board. Personal best through the first section. Not purple, so he's not been the fastest through there, and again, not purple in the middle of the lap either. A few corrections there as the car almost swapped ends on him. There's a lot of gravel actually as well on the exit of the corner.
Someone's been off up at Coppice. You can see some tyre tracks in the background there. Jack Reeve, by the way, I was going to say he's on a lap also. He's just gone purple in Sector 2. Jack was easily one of the quickest guys on the circuit at Jerez. He's given it a wiggle almost as if to say, no, this is not the lap. Either that or he was trying to get gravel off the tyres. But he was easily one of the quickest drivers at Jerez. Really impressed us with his pace, but just got himself in a little one too many accidents and shenanigans. Here comes Fretwell then round the final corner. Look how hesitant they are to get on the throttle there, Ed. It looks like they're almost scared of that hairpin as Fretwell crosses the line and goes, bottom. 1.9 seconds, the Stewart right down there. But what about this from Jack Reeves? Surely this just has to be pole.
It must be. As he comes over the line, breaks the beam, it should be pole by at least a good half a second. There we go. Nicely done there as he gets ahead of the Arrows, his teammate, John Tusting. Arrows 1-2. I'm not sure if it will stay that way, but it's definitely good to get the screenshot on the board for the moment. Matt Hoyland now first of the Jordan Mugen Hondas.
The only as well.
Beautiful. Well, actually, yes, as Jake is not here, is he? That's correct. So to see what Matt can do to try and carry the banner forward for Jordan. Like I mentioned, Jake, while he isn't here tonight, will still be gaining, won't he, in the championship because of the drop scores. Had actually a great recovery dive, didn't Jake, last time out, having to fight back from a disappointing start to the race. Ended up potentially even with the pace that we saw in retrospect, could have been a chance for the victory. But obviously, we've got to have a complete beginning, middle, and end to win here in the Formula One World Championship.
And we have to say as well, Matt Hoyland was another one of the drivers that really caught our eye at Jerez, because he fluffed his qualifying lap and then recovered really beautifully through the order, but then had an issue in his pit stop. He went past his pit box, so he didn't get to have his pit stop, and then it gave him a massive penalty of over a minute, so he wasn't able to complete the race, which was just a massive shame, because he gained so many places in the opening stint, really played his cards right. Hopefully tonight he can start that with a decent recuperation in qualifying. He's got a purple sector 1. Let's see whether it's enough to displace Jack Reeve. Moves all the way over to the right-hand side, crosses the line, purple final sector, and he goes top by just under a tenth of a second, but Matt Hoyland provisionally puts the Jordan on pole. He'll be really happy with that. A great turnaround after what happened at Jerez. Here's Stuart Clark in the Stuart. Car number 18. Makes his way to the line, stays over to the right a little bit. Don't think he was too pleased with that lap. Where does that put him? Third fastest, behind Jack Reeve for now, ahead of John Tusting, so he splits the two arrows. And next up, we look to the Sauber Patronus of Martin Kenyon.
Like Robin Hood splitting the arrows there, isn't he? Little effort there.
I like it.
From Stuart Clark to into the second row as it stands. Hoyland, though, I mentioned, fastest of the bunch, but for how much longer as you've got Ben Chalcraft coming through to start his lap. Martin Kenyon currently on a lap. See as well, actually, one of the Ferraris and one of the Williams cars waiting. It's that Kevin Zemstra, and where is the other?
Christian Rose is the other
Christian
car.
Rose, that'd be, yes.
Christian's waiting to head back out onto the circuit now. Kevin Zemstra will be the next car, but it's the two Saubers. Stuart Clark, as you've seen, has done a purple sector there on his in-lap. We do mention that it's usually the third lap that's quickest. He's done a purple sector 3 as well, which just shows you, actually, it's quite amazing that sometimes these guys go quickest on their fast laps. Chalcraft with a purple sector 1. Martin Kenyon's done personal bests, but Ben was going really well at Sebring last night, actually, in the Porsche in the SRM GT4 Challenge, so he's on good form at the moment, is Chalcraft. Let's see whether either of these Saubers can make it onto the front row, displacing either Matt Hoyland or Jack Reeve. Into the hairpin goes Johnny Herbert. Nice and smooth on the throttle. Doesn't use all the road there, does Martin. Keeps it right in the middle of the track. And what time does he get? It's enough for third. He's ahead of Stuart Clark at this point. But Ben Chalcraft, that purple first sector is really intriguing me here, Ed. I think this could be a good one for Ben. Potentially front row.
Oh, maybe not with that slot on that final corner. He's lost a little bit of time there, and is that going to completely demolish any hopes of a pole? No, he's still just about got it, but that was looking very sketchy, wasn't it, on the exit? He really lost a few tenths, so that's still impressive that he was able to get ahead by a tenth and a half to Matt Hoyland. Now Christian Rose is going to get started over the line.
I think one of the interesting points about Chalcraft's lap as well is that obviously he had drivers on their in-laps setting faster lap times, so that took away the purple sectors from him. So theoretically, it could have been an almost fully purple lap from Ben. It's just that because of some of the fast in-laps that we were getting, we didn't really get the indication of it. So I'm intrigued to see how much of that sort of pays through to the rest of the session. Kevin Zemstra has just done a purple sector 1 though. He is flying in this Ferrari. Christian Rose, no purple sectors from him yet. He's not very well at the moment, is Shifty, bless him, so he's giving it a push tonight and he's giving it a try. But he's obviously a little bit under the weather and may have to pull over at some point, but hats off to him. Kevin Zemstra though, he's on a mission now.
Yes, he certainly is. Really having a good run of things at the moment. Now let's see how he attacks this chicane, Chaz. Oh, just about inch perfect.
Yeah, really close stuff that. Absolutely smashes it right up towards the track limits, but no improvement in that third sector, which intrigues me. So we'll see how he does in these last couple of corners. Around the final corner goes Christian Rose, keeps it all the way over to the right just to optimise that run to the line. And Christian goes fourth fastest, just behind Jack Reeve. And what about Kevin, the first of the Ferraris across the line? a purple final sector. That's got to be pole position. And it is by nearly 7/10 of a second. Wow. Goodness me, that's a blistering time.
Well, yeah, that's impressive. That's going to take some beating.
Absolutely. Absolutely corked that one. Now, unfortunately, you may have heard that Ed was a little bit robotic there, but that's not Ed's fault. That is Discord in general having a bit of a meltdown, it seems. So we do apologise for that. But Discord has, died. Hopefully you can all still hear me. I'm sure you can, because it says that the stream is still getting bitrate. But unfortunately, Discord seems to have, well, there's no broadcastable words for it. So we'll carry on. We'll do Radio Draycott for a bit. But the two drivers on circuit right now are Ian Stitchbury in the Benetton, who you see here, and Lee Aberdeen in the McLaren. Lee making his way around to the best of his ability, hoping to gain some positions and gain some points in the championship. And we'll see what he can do when it comes to this second half of the season. Because the drivers, I can't believe, have already completed the first half of the campaign. Lee Aberdeen has done a purple sector 2 as Ian Stitchbury pushes it right to the limit. Discord is back now, I believe, Ed.
Yes, it is. Definitely think it's up and running. Yeah, sorry about that. It's something that we can't control. Lee Aberdeen, though, he can control his destiny, and it seems like he is going to be destined for the front row. But will it be pole position? Ian Stitchbury will be the first over the line, kicking up a little bit of grass as he makes his way over the line. Has he done enough to get up the order? Only 6th for Ian. Lee Aberdeen, though, over the line. What has he been able to do? The driver that was the fastest in pre-qualifying. Only enough for second, but just off of the pace set by Kevin Zemstra. Kevin, another driver as well, actually. He showed brilliant form in the Ferrari at Jerez, didn't he? Lots of pace there for Kevin. It's just about trying to unlock that final bit, but he was really in the fight for the win.
Speaking of somebody that had incredible pace at Jerez, what about Aaron Smith here, who's just about to begin his lap? He was absolutely dominating the first half of that race until he had an issue in the pit lane, and he unfortunately got a penalty, lost all of his lead, and then had an incident that eventually got him a penalty later on in the race. He's got a bit more of a point to prove here tonight, hasn't he? He needs to definitely make sure that he is up there and keeps this tidy here tonight, because otherwise the potential championship fight that he could put up with the points and the pace that he's got, it could all slip away.
Aaron Smith for Ferrari. Look at him just attacking every single inch of this circuit, really just throwing it through.
We look at Taylor Adams now into the hairpin, getting a little bit out of shape there, having a bit of a wobble to say the least. Let's see whether Taylor can do enough to be right up there with his teammate. The McLarens are 5th and 6th in the championship. Always pushed a bit hard into the final hairpin, but that might give him a slingshot on the exit. We'll see whether he can utilise that and get a good run out of there. No purple sectors for the second McLaren on the circuit, and he goes 5th behind Matt Hoyland and just ahead of Jack Reeve. And what about Aaron Smith? He certainly was attacking this lap, but there's no purple sectors showing on our timing screens. Again, kicks its head in out of the final corner. Overdoes it maybe a little bit. Does that put him anywhere near the front? There's a big old gap, well, right there between Aberdeen and Chalcraft. It puts him 3rd fastest, his teammate currently on pole. And there are now 2 drivers left to go, Ed, and the only 2 drivers that have won races so far this season.
Yep, Sam Fitzpatrick and Jesper Eriksson, the 2 dominant forces this season in the Formula 1 World Championship. What can they muster up here in these last few moments of qualifying? One shot, one chance. Will it be enough, though, for Sam Fitzpatrick and Jesper Eriksson? Can they hit their marks? It's getting a little bit sort of hesitant, I think, from Jesper, wasn't it? It seemed like he had a couple stabs at the power through turn 1.
Yeah, he's certainly giving it a couple of goes. Sam Fitzpatrick sideways floats it round McLean's. Doesn't really get anything out of it. No purple sector from him. He still remains all green sectors. Jesper Eriksson, green sector only as well. I think some of these in-laps are actually ruining it, to be honest with you. I think that because they're so quick on that third lap, people are impossibly fast compared to those that are just doing their first or second laps and their hot laps in particular. Here's Sam Fitzpatrick then into the hairpin. You can really get an idea of the descent down into that corner from there, don't you?
I think Discord maybe it's having a moment again, Chaz.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is. Well, we'll continue on. When it comes back, we'll let you know. But Sam Fitzpatrick is currently pushing all the way over to the right-hand side. Is it the front row of the grid? No, it's not. Fourth fastest, half a second off Kevin Zemstra. What about Jesper Eriksson in the Williams? Can he do anything about the Ferrari on pole? I don't think he's close enough. He's not. He goes fourth fastest. So it's a Ferrari and a McLaren on the front row of the grid. And Jesper Eriksson and Sam Fitzpatrick, the top two in the championship, unable to do anything about those drivers that are just too quick in quali. And it just goes to show that you never know who's going to be out on top in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. Very, very excited, though, to see how this race unfolds. But Kevin Zemstra takes pole position by just 15 thousandths of a second here at Donington Park. 20 drivers complete qualifying, and two of them, Rob Lundgren and Simon Price, do not get their valid lap times on the board, unfortunately. They will start from the back row of the grid, but Jesper Eriksson and Sam Fitzpatrick will start right near each other on the grid. And well, I for one am very, very excited to see where this goes. Again, just an apology from us for Discord having its issues. I can see that the connection is still pretty bad there. Although, no, maybe it's just come back.
We're stabilising. We're getting back. It was just as soon as you started apologising, it was like, oh, we're sorry. We're going to get back onto it now.
Yeah, we'll get there. Aaron Smith, well, parking his car in a very strange position. Same with Sam Fitzpatrick. Jesper Eriksson now on his way in. The guys have been asked to complete their laps and come all the way in to finish the session, just to give a definite idea that it is all completely over. Jesper pulls into the pit lane, and that will be that for qualifying here at Donington Park for the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. You also forget how downhill the start-finish straight is at Donington until you see that angle, don't you? It's crazy.
It is, but hopefully the evening is not all downhill from here. We've got an amazing race lined up, don't we, Chaz? But what an impressive effort that was from Kevin Zemstra in qualifying to be in front of the likes of, obviously, well, the dominant forces, isn't it, in Formula 1, Jesper Eriksson, Sam Fitzpatrick. By that margin, really does hammer home just how dialed in he was for that one lap. We know, obviously, over the course of the race, the consistency of Jesper Eriksson is what wins him the races. But at the moment, it's looking very nice for Kevin Zemstra to potentially be getting his first victory of the season.
Yeah, we'd certainly hope so, with all the bad luck that Kevin has had up to now, not just in this season, but in previous ones as well. He never wanted the Ferrari, and he's had it for 3 seasons in a row now due to the pre-season testing. It's great to see these cars filtering their way down the pit lane, though. Lovely looking machines. That there, John Tusting in the number 17 Arrows. We then have Francois Brandet making his way down the pit lane in car 20. But a lot of these guys are all doing the same thing right now, aren't they, Ed? They're doing those all-important practice starts that they need to get used to.
Yep, again, drivers just trying to really nail on every single little aspect. Being on a downhill as well will help the drivers a little bit to sort of get the biting point, get the car a little bit sort of better off of the road, off of the standstill, shall I say. Yeah, a lot of drivers really are just trying to absolutely get this nailed. Sam Fitzpatrick, he'll be hoping for a nice clean getaway, seeing if he can jump up a few places in towards turn 1. It's not really the longest run, is it, actually, in towards turn 1 in the world either, is it?
No, not really, and I'm quite intrigued by the fact that they're doing this in the pit lane, because at the end of the day, they've not really got a lot of room to do it, but it's also not a completely flat surface. It's lumpy in the pit lane here at Donington Park, so yeah, it surprises me that they're doing that there.
Yeah, you can just see actually the Benetton how much it's bumping along the pit lane. They try and basically keep the pit boxes as flat as possible to stop things rolling away, but then they need to have a step down, don't they, to the next one. You can see it illustrated brilliantly there from some of its actually. It's almost like it's going down some stairs, basically.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? Let's just see. Here we go. We got an on board of it here. Watch the suspension working away now while he builds this up. It's just that very initial launch, though, that they're working on. That's all they want to absolutely perfect here. So, obviously, it's going to matter a lot. We don't have rolling starts in Boremula 1. A quick thank you again to Bottle of Scotch Racing, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and JL Race Aesthetics, the sponsors and supporters of the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media. We've got drivers just out for warm-up now. Ed and I are just going to take a quick break from commentary. I know if Zauer is watching right now, he's certainly going to slate me about that one. I didn't hear the end of it since the previous broadcast. He joined us and we weren't even commentating. So Zauer, if you're watching, this break is for you. Thanks very much. We'll see you in a few. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship, sponsored by Bottle of Scotch Racing and Derbyshire Holiday Homes. You're currently enjoying the warm-up session at the moment, or at least we hope you are, where the drivers just get 10 minutes between qualifying and the race to get back acquainted with the circuit and its current conditions and see what they can do with it. But at the moment, it's Jesper Eriksson back on top. Not quite being able to beat the Ferraris, though, in qualifying. He's only 65 thousandths ahead of 4th place in this warm-up session, though. It's very, very close indeed. And that's the theme of Boremula 1, really. So we'll see how the race goes, shall we, Ed? We never know.
It's difficult to predict anything, really, isn't it, Chaz? We like to, as commentators, to give almost a window into what we've seen in the past. Obviously, with our experience with this championship, we can sometimes, I don't know, make a prophecy, but never sort of a prediction about what's going to happen, because oftentimes things can go awry for certain drivers, or things can fall into the hands of others. I mean, just look at the race actually just a day ago, wasn't it, Chaz? We were predicting it was going to be one way. Look, for all the world, like, one driver was going to win, and then all of a sudden, right at the end, race completely gets turned on its head through the pit lane, and then suddenly someone else wins it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I have both, you know, we've seen the stories of certain drivers that never have good luck, or the drivers that just always end up in incidents and so on, and then we've seen how quickly the story can change from one round to the next, and you have to always preempt it and just hope that for somebody's sake, you know, the story changes sometimes. And it's great to see, you know, this is in no way, I do not want to disrespect Cam Dance at all, but it's lovely to see the championship so close at this stage, isn't it? Only 5 points between the top two in the standings with 5 races to go.
I mean, you say it's going to be less domination, but Jesper Eriksson has been a real force to be reckoned with. I think the only reason why the championship is as close as it is because he missed out last time at Jerez, but we'll see what he can do tonight from the second row.
Kevin Zemstra starts on pole position then in the Ferrari with Lee Aberdeen alongside him. Then it's Aaron Smith and Jesper Eriksson, Sam Fitzpatrick and Ben Chalcraft going well in 6th place. Matt Hoyland and Taylor Adams next up, car 8, P8. Jack Reeve is next with Christian Rose completing the top 10 ahead of the Benetton of Ian Stitchbury and Martin Kenya's Sauber. Then we also have Stuart Clark and John Tusting, Connor Hatfield and Francois Brandet, Philip Miles and Alex Fretwell, with Rob Lundgren and Simon Price completing the 20 cars that we have here this evening of our 22. No Danny Weir and no Jake Cranstone. Let's get this underway then, shall we, everybody? The CDM Boremula 1 World Championship round number 6 from Donington Park is underway, and it's a solid start from Kevin Zemstra. Jesper Eriksson dives all the way to the inside straight off the bat, hoping to come down the inside of Aaron Smith. Doesn't work for him there. Now Lee Aberdeen is on the outside line. Jesper Eriksson has to get back out of it. Nearly contacting there. Ian Stitchbury is very, very close to contact in the background. And oh no, Aaron Smith, and there's big contact with Lee Aberdeen again. Lee Aberdeen across the front. Who else was off in all of that? There's multiple cars off the road still. Oh, goodness me. Ian Stitchbury was involved. Sam Fitzpatrick was off the circuit as well. But Aaron Smith was on the right-hand side. And, oh, I think there's more damage to John Tusting's car. That's not behaving itself either. Oh, goodness me, Ed. That was massive.
Yeah, this is a real dramatic start to the race, and that's going to give a great opportunity for some drivers to low down the field. Simon Price and then Minardi up into 7th place.
Yeah, 13 gained. Oh, look at this. John Tusting off the road again. Ian Stitchbury. He's trying to drag it back, but to be honest, I'm not sure if... Wow. I'm not sure if any of these lot can do anything with that. Jesper Eriksson's taking the lead from Kevin Zemstra, by the way. Jesper has done that down into the hairpin. Matt Hoyland is up into 3rd position. Jack Reeve is up into 4th. We'll have to go back and have a look at what happened in just a minute. We'll let it settle down for a second, but that was not good stuff, that. I don't know whether it was just Lee Aberdeen didn't know Aaron was there, whether Aaron came over to the left, but yeah, Lee Aberdeen in the pits, out of the race. Devastating stuff.
Well, Simon Price, as I said in the Minardi, doing so well now in the pits. Did he maybe jump the start? Is that why he jumped so high up the order? got a drive-through penalty.
That was Philip Miles getting his fast repair. I imagine there'll be a few more into the pit lane to do the same. You can hear damaged cars limping around the circuit, making horrific noises. John Tusting has had an off at the final corner. Jack Reeve has just got past Matt Hoyland for third position at the front of the pack, and now Matt wants to come back at him here. This is perfect opportunity for these guys to just get some big points on the board already. They just need to keep it clean and tidy, but instead these two are battling like cat and dog.
I want to see what went on with, obviously, Sam Fitzpatrick as well. He dropped back a couple of places from the start. I'm not sure if he was necessarily caught up in that or just slowed down a lot to avoid any damage.
I think he had to throw it off the road to the left-hand side because the incident happened right in front of him. But Jesper Eriksson finds himself in the race lead once again. Unbelievable stuff. We'll have to go and have a look now at what happened. So we'll go all the way to the very start of the race. We'll go to the green flag. We'll go to the chopper cam here. Now keep an eye on the Ferrari. Oh, Lee Aberdeen jumped the start as well. Keep the eyes, or keep your eyes, on the Ferrari on the right and the McLaren. Sam Fitzpatrick is in the blue Benetton at the bottom of the screen there. Oh, it's very nip and tuck there. Yeah, now for me, yeah, that's just not enough space left by Lee. And oh my goodness me, Sam Fitzpatrick got smacked. Sam got absolutely walloped. I thought he just avoided contact and sort of got out of it, maybe had a spin losing it on the grass, but look at this.
What is that car made of? How is it still going?
I know. How on earth is it still going? Aaron Smith, by the way, is, well, sat in the pits and out of the car, I believe. I think he's already conceded he's out of the race. Lee Aberdeen has continued on. And so have, well, all the others. Rob Lundgren here, side by side with Connor Hatfield. Connor's run wide, and through goes Alex Fretwell. Francois Brandet wants in on this as well. You get points all the way down to 12th in Boremula 1. So you need to make sure that you obviously take every advantage that you can here. That in front of them is, I believe, is that not Lee Aberdeen making his way through? Yes, it is. That's Lee Aberdeen trying to unlap himself in the McLaren now with all these guys scrapping for point-scoring positions. Oh, he'll be getting told off by iRacing as well and told to get out of the way, so ouch. He won't be enjoying that, will he? Jesper Eriksson continues to lead, then Kevin Zemstra second, Jack Reeve third ahead of Matt Hoyland. Then it is the two Saubers, Ben Childcraft and Martin Kenyon. Bit of a gap between them, then Sam Fitzpatrick and Christian Rose.
Looking at it as well, like you mentioned, both McLarens out. That's going to be big for the Teams Championship, isn't it? With so many different drivers struggling. And Zemstra and the Ferrari basically having to carry the points along now for that team as Aaron Smith is out of the running. Lee Aberdeen in and out of the pits. Is that a second time in and out of the pits?
Yeah, back through. And yeah, he's had a drive-through penalty to serve or something.
Very me. Jesper Eriksson though, carrying on strong, isn't he, at this moment in time? And seems to be just an unstoppable force behind the wheel of the little Formula Mazda. Kevin Zemstra sticking with him, but not, right up his gearbox. He's got Jack Reeve just behind him as well, Matt Hoyland, who I think they've managed to settle their differences. The Arrows and the Jordan just going to be playing ball for a little while. See if they can maybe catch back up to the lead pair. But for now, it's looking quite comfortable for Jesper Eriksson, as it has done for, well, quite a lot of this season so far. Sam Fitzpatrick, again, amazing how he was able to keep that thing going. It doesn't look like there's any damage either. Car appeared to be driving straight when he got it onto the road. It's going to be difficult to see through here because you've always got some sort of steering lock.
Yeah,
So
let's
ideally,
have a ganders. I don't know how, because I mean, like, all four wheels came off the ground and everything, but it seems to be okay.
not sure obviously if there's, I don't know if it's down a little bit in top end, but looking at the lap times, I mean, lap time wise, he's on par with the leaders.
Yeah. Wow. And look at all the gravel and everything that's been kicked out on the outside of the circuit there. It's mad how that's just obliterated the field. It's similar to what we saw a few seasons ago at Montreal. There was a big accident on lap 2, wasn't there? and it just completely compounded the effect and yeah, threw the field apart.
Going to be a great opportunity for some drivers lower down to obviously score points. We've got the Minardi just outside of the top 10. Tyrrell as well up in 10th. Actually 2 Tyrrells, aren't they? We've got Robbie Lundgren in 10th, Francois Brandet in, well, it was in 10th. There's actually Rob Lundgren has rattled away. I think actually the Tyrrells and Minardis are seemingly swapping places on my timing screen, Chaz.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why.
Lundgren down, and Connor Hatfield also. Let's have a look here what happened. Connor's down the inside. What on earth is that about? That's got to be some of the biggest netcode I've ever seen. Ever. What is that? Oh, that's not acceptable. That is not. And fair play to Connor. He's let him back through. And Simon Price, his teammate, has gone through as well. So Simon is still back into the points. But boy, there's going to be quite the ruckus here, isn't there? Yain Stitchbury also out of this race by the look of it. Aaron Smith's car is still sat in the pit lane. Apparently he had his pit limiter wasn't working due to the damage that he'd received. So he was then speeding in the pits and got a penalty on top of it, just to add to the injury. And John Tusting, well, he's off the circuit, and I think he's having a even more of a nightmare race, it seems. His teammate isn't. Jack Reeve running in 3rd position. Matt Hoyland trying to uphold the honours for Jordan here from 4th place with Jake Cranstow not here tonight.
Yep. Obviously, Jack Reeve once more trying to get a podium to his name, but I think the pair of them have just dropped back over the last couple of laps. Jesper Eriksson and Kevin Zemstra really put the afterburners on. Kevin right behind Jesper as they make their way down through trainers in towards the old hairpin.
Love riding on board with these things at this high speed.
Just
it's
about
awesome,
to say the same. The sound, isn't it? Especially on the downshifts, the way the car's got that sort of... It's a bit of a rattly sound, isn't it, nearly? Sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a very high-pitched buzz of a sound. Still, the race goes on.
This is going to be a great battle, isn't it? You've got the Tyrrell of Francois Brandet sort of leading. Oh, sort of a little bit of a train, isn't it? They've got Simon Price, Rob Lundgren, Connor Hatfield. This is for the sort of final few points playing positions, isn't it? It's going to have big ramifications in the team's championships. Kind of a whole darting around trying to find track space. We've got obviously the McLaren as well. I believe that's Taylor Adams just trying to find a way through. Not really in the position.
No, that's Lee Aberdeen.
Lee Aberdeen, sorry.
He's trying to unlap himself now. He knows he's got the pace to be right up there, being on the front row of the grid. The drive-through that he would have had, by the way, would have been for jumping the start.
Yes.
So that would have been, yeah.
So we had damage initially that you had to repair, and then also...
Then serve the penalty within 3 laps.
Penalty.
God, not nice at all. Sam Fitzpatrick, by the way, has got past Martin Kenyon and has now moved up into 6th place. He's all over the back of Ben Chalcraft in the Sauber. Ben hoping that he can add some decent points to his own spreadsheet of points. You can see just how close the chase is here. And I think, to be fair, much like he has been in previous rounds, Sam Fitzpatrick is maybe a bit inevitable here.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Ben, even with that, well, if he has damage, still got plenty of pace in the tank. Oh, sorry, Sam rather has got a lot of pace in the tank. Again, wonderful shot, isn't it, of the cars going through that chicane at high speed. But look at the run that Sam gets out in towards Melbourne Loop.
Is he still there?
Pretty
no, he's
much
through.
Move completed already.
Yeah.
This final hairpin though, Chaz, I cannot stand. It's just so horrible, isn't it? Off camera, the car's always just trying to fight away from you. Then on the exit as well, you've got RC sort of... feels like there's a rise, isn't it, as you're trying to get on the power, which unsettles the car massively.
Yeah, that's the thing. These cars, it's like the rear end isn't attached to the front sometimes, isn't it? It's like it's completely the other way around. As Rob Lundgren... Oh no, Rob's been off the circuit. He was in the points. He's had Stuart Clark alongside him. Stuart goes through into the chicane. Oh no, the back end gets away, and oh wow, it's almost like he gained speed into the wall. Let's have a look here. Yeah, he's kept it planted. That was his main mistake there, I think, rather than slamming the brakes on. And I think Rob Lundgren, mainly, out of this race. But Jesper Eriksson still leads from Kevin Zemstra. This is a great opportunity now with some of the main championship protagonists out of the way for Kevin to really score some big points.
Yeah, definitely. Jack Reeve, Matt Hoyland especially have caught up on the last couple of laps. Maybe there was a bit of battling that we missed between Jesper Eriksson and Kevin Zemstra because they were both slower by roughly, sort of maybe 3 or 4 tenths of a second. So that's really allowed the likes of Jack Reeve and Matt Hoyland to reel them back in. Jesper's going to have his work cut out for him, but we know that he's got such great pace. I think the race that really has illustrated that was Okayama. He had a lot of great pace, and there was, I think it was Sam Fitzpatrick that was sort of chasing him down, but not really able to do anything more than just stay with him. The slipstream was basically what was keeping the battle as close as it seemed, because Jesper, well, obviously the cars were right there close behind him, didn't look likely to make a mistake and just seemed to have it all under control. Are we going to see that here tonight, or will we see the pulse at Kevin Zemstra try and strike back and take or retake the lead of the race? Definitely has the pace over a lap, but can he do it in race trim?
Yeah, that's going to be the next question. And how long will it take? And will the battle actually draw in Jack Reeve and Matt Hoyland behind him as well? And then will that in turn bring in Sam Fitzpatrick into the mix? These guys have got to think about saving fuel as well, potentially, to go longer on their stints. You could see the massive amount of slipstream there, actually. He really closed in towards the chicane. But how much of that was Jesper Eriksson lifting, do you reckon?
Yeah, we've seen it before, haven't we, Chaz? We actually saw a lot of it last night with the drivers lifting and coasting a lot in towards these braking zones. Seeing what that can do to help shorten their final stops of the evening. But I just drank a lot of I've got a fresh can of Pepsi out, and it's got me a bit gassy. So sorry if that's coming through on the mic.
No, mate,
I'm
I'm the same. I've got 2 absolutely freezing cold Pepsis around me. Ed and I are absolute suckers for Pepsi Max. It literally fuels our broadcasts. But yeah, I got one out of the fridge before. No, not sponsored. Got one out of the fridge, and I'm glad that the adverts were on before because I could barely breathe. It was that cold. It was beautiful. Connor Hatfield has been off the circuit here, I'm afraid. I think he's going to go a little bit too hot into McLean's. Oh, he's just clipped the grass on the way in. Whoa, and around she goes. That, again, is just how fragile these cars are and how quickly the back end wants to overtake the front. But we're on lap 11 of 44 here at Donington Park in the CDM Formula 1 World Championship. It's been a very scarring first couple of laps. We're going to go back to the start of the race, and I want to see this from a Monsieur Price's point of view. He started at the very back of the grid. He jumped the start also. That will have been why he went into the pits not long after.
Thing is, as well, in this, when you jump the start, iRacing basically only deems it from when you accelerate. It doesn't then calculate if you stop. So basically, from that point on, you need to just keep it pinned and just go, because otherwise you get hit with a really harsh penalty for not really any sort of benefit. Now let's have a look at this. Oh, my word. Picks the spot.
Yeah, the bit we didn't see was everything that went on the right-hand side of the circuit. So where did Lee Aberdeen's car end up going? Because he and Aaron Smith ended up over on the right-hand side. Now let's just try and... the car just continually spins. Taylor Adams is involved. Then, there's a massive hit. Philip Miles smashes into them as well. Stuart Clark is one of the cars that goes right through all of that. Let's have a look from Stuart's point of view. We'll try and pick this apart in slow-mo. So the incident has happened there. Keep your eye out for Taylor Adams in the middle. He hits his teammate. Then that is Jan Stitchbury in the Benetton. He goes right. Christian Rose is going to get clipped by that Benetton, I think, with netcode. No, Christian gets away. Stuart actually slows down and gets walloped from behind, I think from Connor Hatfield. Then his teammate hits him as well. And there's Francois Brandet. I mean, he's going to end up in the English Channel anyway with how quickly he was going through the screen, but... goodness me. Then Philip Miles comes into view. So many of them just piled in, but I don't really think it was through any fault of theirs, because it's a high-speed part of the circuit, and the cars just ended up back in the middle of the road.
Yeah, I think actually Francois managed to survive that. He gained 6 places through. Alex Fretwell gained 9. I want to see actually from Francois if he managed to escape any sort of damage. I can't see him having to take a trip to the pits. Neither did Alex Fretwell. So maybe just about got through scot-free. At the moment, it still remains out in front. Jesper Eriksson from Kevin Zemstra, Jack Reeve, Matt Hoyland lurking in behind, but actually Matt Hoyland has dropped back a touch from Jack over the last couple of laps. We'll try and see if we can catch back up, definitely within the slipstream range. That Jordan. Speaking of the Benetton, actually, I was just mentioning the Benetton because Sam Fitzpatrick, over the last couple of laps, has slowly but surely been reeling in that lead quartet.
Yeah, Sam is only 4 seconds behind, like you say. He's really not too far off the back of this. Hoyland has dropped away a bit from Jack Reeve as well, so I'm intrigued to see what he can do from this point going forward. Let's go and have a look, though, like you say, at Francois Brandet, because he gained... No, this isn't Francois. He gained a bunch of positions in all of this, didn't he? Because he dives to the right to avoid it. It sounds like there's a car on his right already. And now, look at it all slowing down here. So Stuart Clark slams on. He's going to get hit by Connor Hatfield, who's locked up into the back of him. Then Fretwell goes right. And oh my God, in this instance, how on earth has Francois not hit any of that? That's pretty remarkable, actually. But then...
straight at the barriers. Oh.
Wow. Fair play to Francois Brandet. And then he gets on the circuit here rather than going on the exit of the old hairpin. And then he's just going to be driving past absolutely broken cars, I imagine, from that point onwards.
That was in slow-mo as well. Imagine how much he would have to react in the instant if that was real time. If you were watching that back. That is relief. How he's able to keep it under control there. Look at this. Right. Full chat, full throttle. Sees the instant pretty late on. Has to just quickly dive out the way.
Well, the thing is as well, the smoke trail looks like it goes left, so everybody else, oh my God, everybody else, you could hear me crinkle up my can of Pepsi then, but everybody else would have expected them to go left because that's where the smoke trail went. And at that part of the circuit, you would have expected them to go to the outside and disappear off. Philip Miles has been off the road, by the way, in the Prost. He was just outside of the points here, just behind Connor Hatfield, and it's just gone on the way into Coppice. So easily done. Christian Rose is now off the road, or has been for a moment. He's now recovered. But the lead battle is still very much on here between Jesper Eriksson, Kevin Zemstra, and now Jack Reeve, who's back into the picture.
They're really firmly in the picture, trying to take centre stage in this battle between Jesper Eriksson, Kevin Zemstra, and now himself. Is going very well, isn't it, at this stage of the season? We saw a lot of it actually from Jack. Well, good pace at Jerez. I'm going to see if he can convert that into a podium here at Donington Park. But so far, looks pretty comfortable as they're all dropping now. Matt Hoyland do again over that last lap. Just a couple tenths slower. Not quite able to keep up with this front trio. Sam Fitzpatrick as well over that last lap. Yet again, reeling in the leaders by about 0.3 of a second. So that Benetton somehow all 4 wheels on the wagon after lap 1 with a good bit of pace about it as well.
I really do like this shot though. You can just see the steering inputs they're putting in. Alex Fretwell heads into the pit lane. Why might that be? This is actually his stop, isn't it? I think he's trying to pit early to get ahead of the curve here. We'll have to keep our eye on Alex Fretwell, see how he gets on. Obviously there's a lot of people that will have already pitted once because of the damage they had earlier, so that might not be a true reflection, but we'll see. We'll go back to this though. Ben Chalcraft has got his teammate Martin Kenyon behind him. The two Saubers sticking together here. Ben, much like last night actually, in last night's Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge, Ben was the only car out of, 30 that finished where he started the race. He's one of only 2 cars that are currently where they started this race as well. Sam Fitzpatrick is the other one. Ben has got his teammate Martin behind him, has gained 5 places. Christian Rose has gained 2. Francois Brandet has gained 7. Simon Price has gained 10 so far in this race. Simon is having a belter of a race. His teammate Connor Hatfield also in the points. Philip Miles trying to get points for Prost. If it finishes like this, Ed, every team will have scored points because Tyrrell are the only ones to have not scored so far.
Yes, so that would be a real turn up for the books, wouldn't it? And currently at this moment in time, Francois in pretty comfortable position. He's got 9 seconds to Simon Price in 10th. A further 4 on top of that to Connor Hatfield. And there's another 10 to Philip Miles. So Francois firmly in the points.
It's comfortable. It's comfortable for the Frenchman at the moment. I was having a good chat with Francois today about the decal layers for the SRM GT4 Challenge and other things, and we always have a good laugh to Francois and I. He's a lovely, lovely bloke. And he's just really enthusiastic about his racing. I mean, he was telling me, we've all seen the, what's it called, the meme, haven't we, of the guy that, you know, finishes like 9th and there's a giant podium and he's biting the medal and spraying the champagne and everything. I think Francois finished in the points yesterday, I think in 15th position. And he said, "This is me today." He was acting like he won the championship, he said. He was so pleased with himself. And I love that. And again, that's another incentive for us to run championships where you don't get points all the way down the order. You have to be within a bracket to get them. As Christian Rose was nearly in a bracket to hit the back of Martin Kenyon's Sauber there, wasn't he?
That was scary stuff, but they all made it through unscathed. Christian Rose now darting to the inside of the Sauber. Onto the power. He's going to get enough of an overlap and overspeed to probably be clear in towards the old hairpin. As I say that,
no.
a bit of a fight back, isn't there?
Oh, nicely done, though. Good stuff from Martin as well, leaving loads of space around there. It's not easy when you're on that left-hand line. And through goes Christian up into 7th place. Hats off as well. He's not well at the moment. And oh no! Martin's not going to be well if he carries on into the gravel that far. No, he's kept it out the barrier. Nicely done. It's not often you go off up there and don't hit a wall, is it, Ed? But I think he just got caught out by the brakes. And that behind, was that Lee Aberdeen or Taylor Adams? That's Taylor Adams.
Taylor Adams. Look, all of the dust he's kicked up though on the exit.
Yeah.
That's going to be really treacherous for the drivers trying to come through there now.
Oh, it seems all right.
It's actually not too bad, actually. It's when they're on the straight now, they're not having to really put like the acceleration under duress. Here we go, though. Kevin Zemstra looking all the way around the outside now of Jesper Eriksson. Found the little gap on the inside through the hairpin, as there's battling side by side as well. Matt Hoyland has now gotten ahead of Jack Reeve. Kevin Zemstra's attempt to take back the lead of the race unsuccessful. Jesper Eriksson continues to lead the way. Look, though, at who's in the background.
I was just
the
about to say.
of Sam Fitzpatrick. He's going to be rubbing his hands together with glee, a big grin on his face as he sees the front four all chopping and changing and battling with one another. And what a recovery that was from the start of the race from Sam. Now firmly in with a chance of a podium, potentially even race victory.
You better be hoping he doesn't get too excited. Be rubbing something else. Martin Kenyon at the moment sits in the pit lane. I think he's decided that this is now the time to go into the pits. Just have a bit of a mental reset and then head back out onto the circuit. The guys have been pitting for about 20 seconds, so we should get going any time now. Yep, bang on. Good stuff. So it is a scheduled stop for Martin Kenyon. We'll look on the left-hand side at who has stopped. The leader of those that have stopped is actually Philip Miles. He had a moment earlier. He's about 5 seconds ahead of Alex Fretwell. I'm wondering whether Philip needs to pit again for fuel. Yeah, he pitted on lap 1 actually, so Fretwell is the only one that's done a sort of valid scheduled stop. So Martin's got a great bit of time over him and continues to be the lead pitting car. Jesper Eriksson has held on to this race lead, but he's certainly not out of the woods, is he, Ed?
Not at all. He's firmly within the forest.
Oh,
Matt Hoyland blinking first, going for that free track space. Also, importantly, sort of cutting off any help that Sam Fitzpatrick's going to get in terms of a slipstream.
yeah, to be fair though, I don't think Sam needs it because he's within a second now
he's just
of
got
Jack
back,
Reeve.
yeah.
He's just got there. He was 0.6 of a second quicker than Jack Reeve on that previous lap. He was absolutely flying with Sam. And I mean, we could see it. We saw how quickly he attacked on that previous lap. Matt Hoyland actually did a purple sector 2 on that last rotation as well. So it shows you that now they know they're getting to the end of where the fuel will take them. They are pushing. And they are able to sort of save a couple of tenths here and there to really use them when necessary. Connor Hatfield is just behind Martin Kenyon, but Martin has pitted, Connor has not. But he gets to use him for a bit of slipstream for maybe a lap or so. Martin seemingly a bit slow out of that final hairpin there, losing a bit of ground. The other Minardi of Simon Price is just up the road. Let's see, Connor's having a look down the inside of Martin. Just a bit of a fake for this time round. Philip Miles, as I mentioned before, still needed to pit. He is now into the pit lane in his Prost. Doesn't miss his box. Lee Aberdeen is still cracking on. He's in a battle here with John Tusting. This is for position. Both of these guys affected by the race start incident, and then John had whatever problem he had later on. I think he's just letting Lee go there. He's saying, no thank you, I don't want that fight. Right, Jack Reeve and Sam Fitzpatrick now into the pits as well, flipping it. This is like playing Tower Simulator, this, Ed. I'm just looking everywhere, trying to fight fires. It's just so much going on.
Yeah, at the moment, the action's definitely hotting up out on circuit. Jesper Eriksson, Kevin Zemstra still going as...
Tyres. Front tyres. Yeah, and rears as well for Jack Reeve. Wow. How many of these guys really wanted tyres?
Same time as fuel here. Jack Reeve. It's going to be really treacherous out there, though. Those tyres will not be up to temperature. We saw from qualifying it takes a while to get them properly heated up. But sacrificing maybe some early stint pace, focusing on the end of the race, because they've got now 24 laps to go on this. They will have tyres a lot fresher come the end of the race than those drivers ahead of them.
And look at that, because he's been in the pits for a slight bit less than Matt Hoyland, he's jumped him in the pits as well. So Matt Hoyland now losing a place. You can see just how heavy Sam Fitzpatrick has the force feedback. He's using the Apex Racing simulators at their base in Corby, I believe, and he's got that force feedback turned right up. You can see how much the wheel is wobbling around in his hands. And I know Sam, he's only about 6 stone wet through as well, so I don't know how he's holding onto that wheel, to be honest, with that much ferocity going through it. Either that, or I've seen a few drivers do it before where they've had quite a loose grip on the wheel, and they've sort of let it move around itself and let the car slightly save itself as it's really thrown itself about. So, could be a case of that. We'll see. These guys now head down the pit lane. Jesper Eriksson started this race 4th on the grid. Kevin Zemstra just there behind the pace car. Do either of these guys take tyres?
No,
I wouldn't expect it. No, I didn't think they would. So I'm intrigued to see whether Jack, Sam and Matt have any benefit towards the end, although Matt Hoyland has been overtaken by Sam and then seemingly left for dead. What's happened here?
Yes, but Eriksson has, I think, already gotten rolling, has he?
Oh!
Kevin Zemstra. Oh, dear.
Wow.
That's why Sam was a lot further back than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Matt Hoyland with a spin. Great evasive action, though, isn't it, by Sam? But look at these pair now.
I got caught out then.
Jesper Eriksson.
I thought that was Jack Reeve, but it's John Tusting, his teammate. Ooh. So Jesper Eriksson and Kevin Zemstra have, cleared off. 3.7 seconds clear of Jack Reeve is Kevin Zemstra. So this has turned into a two-way fight for the lead.
Yeah, probably been able to save a lot more fuel at the start of the race, whereas Jack Reeve, he had to, I think, push a bit more to try and catch up, didn't he? He was outside of the slipstream. As a result, by using that extra fuel, had to take maybe a bit more on board at the pit stop. We'll have to hope, though, that there's a bit more battling on the cards for Jesper and Kevin for the end of the race, so he can sort of regain that lost time. At the moment, though, we're watching battle between two Minardis, Simon Price and Connor Hatfield out here. Obviously, Minardis both in the points. This will be great for them in their championship fight, won't it, Chaz? But they need to focus on that Tyrrell up ahead. Francois Brandet scoring some great points with Tyrrell.
Yeah, definitely. And I think right now it is Simon Price allowing his teammate Connor Hatfield to go by. Yes, he's just letting him go. And he's going to see what happens now and whether he can just follow on from his teammate, I guess. It's just an easier situation to be in, a bit more tidy, let's say. Just referencing the championship points here, just to see. Jack Reeve hasn't had a podium this season, has he? No, he's had 2 9th places, an 11th, a 13th and a 14th, as Kevin Zemstra has got back in the lead of the race. He's overtaken Jesper Eriksson. Oh no, has Jesper had a drama? Oh, he might have had a slowdown penalty or something. And then he's tried to serve it by going deep into the hairpin and slowing down. He's right back with Kevin now, though, so the battle is well and truly on. But this could go either way here, though, Ed. Kevin's got the capability to win this race, but Jesper has been so impressive this season, and obviously leads the championship as well after taking 3 race victories. You'd be hard-pressed to bet against him.
You would be. You certainly would have to be a bit of a fool to try and think anyone but Jesper Eriksson is going to win a race. And look at this, darting back up the inside. This is perfectly playing, though, into the hands of the drivers that took a bit longer in the pits by taking tyres. Yeah. Jack Reeve, Sam Fitzpatrick, Matt Hoyland as well, to an extent. They'll all be hoping that this battle continues to rage on like it is. Kevin Zemstra holding the inside line, trying to fight off the advancing Swede of Jesper Eriksson. Kevin, he's only been in the lead of the race for about, well, half a lap, and already Jesper's decided, no, I'm taking it back, thank you.
Yeah, I wondered whether part of that was Jesper dropping behind to say, no, I'd like a bit of slipstream, please, and I want to save some fuel. But no, it's definitely not the case. Look at this. Kevin's just playing it safe now. He's playing it easy. He's having a look, but he's not going overly aggressive with it. He said to me that, earlier in the season he was playing it nice and playing it safe the whole time, thinking big picture, and other drivers were taking advantage of him. So he was saying, no more nice Kevin. I really want to push and get these points and battle hard. That's what he's doing here tonight, and it's great to see that come to fruition. Unfortunately, we've had 2 spins, I think separate incidents. Philip Miles, this will be down at the hairpin. If you tell me you've never done this, you're a liar. Easily done. And then Stuart Clark has had a moment at the chicane. It's just going to whip around and over the crest. Gets away from him. How many times have we seen that as well?
Seen that all too many times. What we haven't seen, though, is Kevin Zemstra leading a race too often, have we? So it was great to see him up there, but now normal service, I think, has resumed. Jesper Eriksson back out in front. Didn't really actually lose too much time throughout all of that battling to Jack Reeve and Sam Fitzpatrick, though, did they?
No.
It's Christian Rose now. Ooh, a little bit squirrely on the exit. Williams battling once more with the Sauber.
He's very close to the back of Ben Chalcraft. He was close to the back of Martin Kenyon earlier on, so he's used to what the back of these Saubers look like by now, is Christian. He's having a good old race. Started 10th on the grid, up into 7th for some more solid points. No, Simon Price has been around, and Taylor Adams has gained a place and got back in 2-point scoring contention. Let's have a look at how this happened. Did Simon just drop it on his own behind his teammate? Yep, just a little bit too hot into McLean's, and the Minardi goes around. He gets it recovered nice and quick, though, and at the end of the day, he's got to be in it to win it, and he's not too far away from the point still. 4 seconds.
Yeah, definitely still a lot of time to go in this race. We've just passed half distance. Tell you what, this race has really flown by, actually, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like we've already got half the race gone. Jesper Eriksson will be hoping that this next half passes by pretty quickly. Look at how quickly Kevin was closing under the brakes there.
Yeah, he was very close to the back of him. Sam Fitzpatrick has caught up really well with Jack Reeve as well. This is great damage limitation, this, from Sam Fitzpatrick. Currently finds himself 2nd in the championship. Connor Hatfield has, I think, just run wide at turn 1 and lost a bit of ground to Taylor Adams. It showed that he was off the circuit for a moment. But yeah, Sam Fitzpatrick doing everything right here at Donington Park to stop Jesper gaining more points in the championship. Jesper has won 3 of the 4 races he's done this season. It's very impressive that he's been able to hold that record. They have a bit of a gap over Jake Cranstone, who, let's not forget, will be scoring points here tonight, because he's going to be using this as his drop score. So whatever his worst result is, which I can tell you is a 4th place, he's going to be gaining points as a result of that. So you get 15, 12, 10, 8. So he's going to gain 8 points tonight, is Cranstone. That puts him on 47 points. So he's still very much in the mix, and that would mean that Aaron Smith has to score 11 to catch up with him. And Aaron is out of the race. So there's big changes afoot there. Kevin Zemstra is 8th in the championship at the moment. His best result so far this season, is 3rd. And he's dropped 2.3 seconds this time round. That's intriguing.
Very. Can't see anything on the event viewer at the moment.
No, it doesn't say he's been off the road or anything, as Sam Fitzpatrick goes through into 3rd position. Taylor Adams in the McLaren has just gotten ahead of Connor Hatfield. Christian Rose in the Williams has just got ahead of Ben Chalcraft in the Sauber. Lee Aberdeen has come into the pits for his scheduled stop, which means Simon Price now goes through. Kevin Zemstra has come to a stop and is now in the pits.
What has gone wrong for Kevin now? Oh.
No.
Not more hardware gremlins for Kevin.
I wonder whether that's his leg. Kevin, not to sort of like overly expose this for Kevin, but he has issues with cramp in his legs. And he's had it before in other series and other races. And just as he got on the brakes there, we'll watch it again. Just as he gets on the brakes, you can see you could imagine the situation. He's on the brakes and suddenly it's gone, and he's got to get his feet off the pedals. He can't come to the stop he'd like to. Oh, I really hope that's not the case, though.
Looks like he thinks about turning in, doesn't he? And then that's probably the point where the cramp just becomes too much, and he just has to maybe give it a rest. We'll see though if that is the case or not. But you can certainly imagine, just from the attitude of the steering that he was putting in, that could be race over and done with. Sam Fitzpatrick, he won't look a gift horse in the mouth though, will he? He is going to be glad to just be one position back from his main rival, Jesper Eriksson.
Despite that massive hit on lap 1 as well. That's just a miracle for Sam Fitzpatrick. The stars have definitely aligned for him here. I was literally just saying that Kevin Zemstra's best finish of the season has been 3rd place in the previous round at Jerez as well. He's had an 8th, a 21st and a 19th, and then an 8th and a 3rd. But now, 3rd is going to remain his best finish by the look of it. It does mean that Simon Price is back into the points, 8 places gained from where he started. Alex Fretwell is the biggest mover though. He's been a bit under the radar so far as Alex Fretwell actually. He's gained 10 positions, started 18th, is well into the points now. And let me have a look actually at Fretwell's best result. It was 8th actually at Jerez as well. And that was as a result of having the penalty overturned by Aaron Smith. Aaron turned Alex in the later stages of the race. And as per the rules, if you inconvenience somebody and we feel it was unjust, then you get placed behind them in the champion, or in the race result at least. So Alex got promoted to 8th, and that was his best result of the season. Sam Fitzpatrick, off the back of a win here, will have all the confidence in the world, and especially knowing that he's been able to recover like this as well, that will only help the situation. Christian Rose, let's have a look at him. He finished 6th as his best result at Jerez last time as well. It was a very beneficial night for a lot of drivers by the look of it, as, oh dearie me, Francois Brandet has come to a stop but got back going again. He's lost a bit of time to Fretwell. He's still 6 seconds clear of Taylor Adams, although that gap is coming down now because he's just got back up to speed. But Francois has had a bit of a moment. But yeah, a number of these drivers are going to be getting their best results tonight if it carries on. Christian Rose's best is 6th. Ben Chalcraft's is 7th. So they're all 1 place up on that. What about Matt Hoyland? Hoyland's best finish so far this season is also 7th. So some of these guys going very well. Jack Reeve too. His best is 9th. So yeah, a lot of these guys in the top 10 it's working for. Same with Martin Kenyon. What's his best result? 7th. And he's currently 7th as well. So yeah, it's in it to win it, to say the least, Ed.
Yeah, a lot of drivers will be leaving. If it ends like it is at the moment, we'll be leaving Donington Park very happy. A lot of drivers, though, will be leaving certainly crestfallen, to say the least. The likes of, obviously, Lee Aberdeen, Kevin Zemstra, Rob Lundgren, and Aaron Smith and Jan as well. Those are drivers that we expect quite a lot from. They set a high standard every time they're out on the circuit. We expect to see them fighting for podiums, for top 10s, for race victories, but that opening lap really took its toll on quite a number of our front runners. But every cloud has a silver lining, and that silver lining seems to be certainly shining very brightly for Tyrrell, on track to score their first points of the season. Francois Brandet in a very strong 9th place.
Yeah, he's doing really, really well. Started 16th on the grid. Alex Fretwell flying the flag for Stuart Ford as well. His teammate Stuart Clark is just outside of the points. Why has it suddenly gone so bright? What's that in the sky? It's actually like realistic Donington weather from last weekend, but through it all, Jesper Eriksson continues to lead this race by about 5 seconds from Sam Fitzpatrick. It's going to be one of the most boring Formula 1 races he's ever had. Car 1 is P1, and he's going to extend his championship lead as the second half of the season gets underway, barring any issues with anybody else or any mistakes from him. But this is a walk in the park right now for Jesper, thanks to the demise of others around him.
Yeah, Jesper, I think he's got a lot of pace about him. Still, though, the gap has been steady around, I think it was actually 5.5 seconds when it was initially after that incident that saw Kevin Zemstra drop out of the running. So Sam, over the past couple of laps, has definitely been able to eat into that magic. Diving up the inside there. Wasn't entirely sure that Simon was going to be diving out of his way. Yes, though, committed to the inside, made sure that his intentions were clear. Just going to have a look now over this lap over the line. What is it for Jesper Eriksson? 124.6, 124.4. So Sam, slowly but surely, reeling in Jesper Eriksson, but needs to get a little bit more of a shift on, I think, if he's to try and secure that top spot, because with 14 laps to go, at that rate, Jesper Eriksson would still be, I think, fairly all right, won't he, to see out the end of the race. It's Alex Fretwell.
That's down
having a bit of a moment there. That was, easily done though, is it, Chaz? You're taking a lot of speed in.
Yeah, it's
just over-rotate.
It's going to go on the left. Yep, goes on the way in, and see, he's done really well there to keep it out the wall. We saw Rob Lundgren have the same incident earlier, but he kept his foot in it, and the car almost accelerated. Alex got on the brakes as soon as he could, and the car has stayed away from the wall. Taylor Adams has just overtaken Francois Brandet. Great recovery drive this by Taylor. It does show you when you stick around for it and push, you can still get points, and I believe Taylor did exactly that at Jerez as well, did he not? Did he not have an incident early on, or was it Lee Aberdeen that had that? It was one of the McLarens. I think Lee Aberdeen was the one that was at the front for the majority, and then Taylor Adams was the driver that recovered really well into, I think, a top 5 or something.
I'm trying to rack my brain, Chaz. It's only a couple of weeks ago, but...
Yeah, Taylor Adams was 4th, Lee Aberdeen was 5th. Both of them recovered from pretty big incidents to finish in the top 5, and they've done that a few times this season. Unfortunately, the McLarens have had to really fight fires, but as we heard from Aaron Smith, obviously his pit limiter didn't work, so he then had a penalty, so you can't blame him for really parking that after that. And then obviously Jan Stitchbury as well, he would have been 2 laps down, 41 seconds off. You can't really blame them sometimes when they park it after a first lap incident.
Yeah, I think it's just about making the best of the situation of the hand you dealt. I mean, obviously Matt Hyland on track for could be his best result of the season. We mentioned, haven't we, Chaz? So many drivers on for some great results, but it's now about, I think, the bigger picture, isn't it? And just deciding if fights are necessarily worth taking, or if it's better to take a step back and sort of bank what you've already got your hands on. So, like Ben Shelcraft, he's having a really good time of things. Could easily find himself battling with the Jordan Stewart just up ahead. Well, not Stewart, sorry. Williams. Christian Rose. I think Christian Rose filled in for the Stewart, which is why it's showing up as that on my end.
Ah, yes. Yeah, it will do. Yeah, that's my bad. I didn't send you the updated, what we call a project file that has all the information for the drivers and teams. But yeah, Christian very much in the Williams Mechachrome full-time now. Alex Fretwell taking the reins over at Stewart in car 19.
Hang about here, Chaz. Just noticing that gap at the front of the field is now 4 seconds. It was 5 last we looked. Blink, and it's now 4. Yeah. Sam Fitzpatrick is driving like a man possessed.
He really is. 0.6 of a second quicker than Jesper Eriksson on that previous lap. He's going to navigate his way past Simon Price. Lap traffic just staying over, I think, to the right-hand side. Is he going to back out of that one? Yes, good stuff by Simon. Really good stuff. Backs out before McLean's. And Sam goes through. Jack Reeve holding on in 3rd place at the moment, doing a really good job for Arrows. I think that's the best result of the season for Arrows. Jack has had 9th place a couple of times. John Tusting's best result is 14th at the moment. John is actually one of the only drivers currently in the position that he started the race, but he got caught up with a lot of damage in the opening lap, so that put pay to his race quite early on. But yeah, coming back to Ben Chalcraft, Ben is another driver, isn't he, that's always had quite a lot of bad luck in this series. We've very often seen it in race 1 as well, where he just gets caught out by an incident ahead of him, or he just has some silly penalty or something, you know, and he tends to have his race sorted by lap 1. But it's been great to see him on this form at the moment. Trying not to commentators curse him, but yeah, and that's inside the top 10 well and truly, in 6th on his way to his best result of the season.
Yep, Ben having a great time of things as it stands. And just trying to keep an eye on the ever-changing gap out in front. Last lap it was a little bit more favourable for Jesper. It was only a 10th that he was able to sort of claw back.
There's Connor Hatfield. I think Connor's just been off the road for a moment and he's just recovered. But all is good. He's still in the points. Philip Miles is hoping to get some more points back for Prost. He's not too far behind Simon Price. It's about 5 seconds at the moment with 11 laps to go here at Donington.
Philip was, again, another one that got caught up in that massive accident at the start of the race. We'll see whether he manages to recuperate, let's say, and get back into the points. But it's Jesper Eriksson leading Sam Fitzpatrick, Jack Reeve, Christian Rose, Matt Hoyland, Ben Chalcraft and Martin Kenyon. And then Alex Fretwell, Taylor Adams and Francois Brandet still inside the top 10. The Frenchman going really well here for Tyrrell. And unfortunately enough for him, because of Connor Hatfield and Simon Price being the 2 cars behind him, it will mean that even though Francois is ahead of both of them right now, after this, if it finishes like this, Minardi will still have a 1-point advantage over Tyrrell. Because Francois is going to get 3, Connor's going to get 2, and Simon's going to get 1. So they'll all score the same amount of points here. The important thing is it'll be Tyrrell's first points of the season.
Yes, definitely. Although Philip Miles definitely has got a good turn of pace at this late stage of the race. 10 seconds to go. Might be able to get himself up ahead of Simon Price. He's got a few seconds to try and claw back though, so it could be a bit far-fetched. Looks to be, like you're right, Chaz, that these final 3 point scoring positions will finish as they appear to be right now. Pace though of Jesper Eriksson, it's really strong. Matching Sam Fitzpatrick lap upon lap. That's all he needs to do, is basically stop the charging Sam from making any inroads. Because the sun has now thoroughly vanished.
Yeah.
So earlier.
Yeah, it's gone very gloomy again. It's gone very British, hasn't it?
So definitely a British summer, this. You get the sun for all of 5 minutes and that's all you're getting.
Absolutely. As you can see, track temperature is just 24 degrees. It's 19 degrees air temperature, which is quite nice in the UK, really. But it is nearly 3 o'clock in the sim. We do try and do it so that the races begin about 2 p.m. in sim time. You can see right now that Jesper, well, he's saying it's 5 o'clock somewhere. He needs a drink. He needs to get home and get cracking with this race. But to be honest, it's been another very measured drive by the Swede. Can't argue with it. And it seems like he's enjoying this circuit as well. I mean, it's a great circuit to drive. That's one of the sort of benefits here of it being a bit more of a spread out race, is it's a joy to drive this circuit on your own, isn't it?
It's a wonderful hot lapping circuit. It's so fast, isn't it? And fluid, flowing, everything you want. Obviously the elevation adds a nice little aspect to that as well. The sort of fall down through the craners and then obviously the big rise up from Old Hairpin, isn't it? Car really compressing nicely, allowing you to carry so much speed and momentum all the way up the hill. These cars being as light as they are, but obviously as underpowered as they are, they tend to be a bit more momentum focused, aren't they? So struggling to get the sort of the grunt up the hill at any speed you take at the base of it really helps you out tenfold on the rise up.
I was going to say,
rising up, actually, Sam Fitzpatrick, a lot more pace on that last lap, half a second.
Yeah, he's got 3.3 seconds now. He's almost closer to Jesper Eriksson than Jack Reeve is to him. So he's certainly turning this on here. I'm intrigued to see how close he can get, because let's not forget, when he gets within about 1.5 seconds to a second of Jesper Eriksson, or if, I should say, then that gap is only going to exaggerate because he's going to suddenly have the slipstream. Let's see what the lap's like last time. Yeah, another 0.4 of a second. 1:24.7 for Jesper, 1:24.3 for Sam Fitzpatrick. So he's continuing to chip away at that gap. I was also going to mention regarding the lap around this place and the undulation and everything, there's a lot of late apexes here for very high speed corners. So you need to have a lot of commitment when you're turning in and make sure that you leave it late but not too late. There's a real knife edge of getting some of these corners right. We're going to go back on board with Ben Chalcraft to display this, but you can see it down here at the Old Hairpin. The drivers sort of straight line it a bit, wait, then turn in, and then you've got to wait to get on the power, and you can hear Ben just overdid it a little bit there, and it's so easy to do that, but you can disguise it from the outside of the car. This is another one as well, McLean's. You want to go for that first part of the curb, you don't do it. There's a bit more of a pointy section there, and again you can see the car not quite giving Ben what he wants in this stage. It's really cutting a lot of coppice though. That surprises me. I would have expected them to get drive-through penalties and all sorts for that, but they really are taking some liberties through there.
Yeah, definitely. Few drivers taking liberties. I just keep looking at that gap coming down, and it's definitely at a rate where, oh, Ben Chalcraft, look at that, really throwing the car through the chicane. I thought he was going to completely lose control, but seemingly able to just keep it on the straight and narrow. think Sauber as well, actually, tonight are on for their best team result of the season so far, 6th and 7th. That's going to be a nice haul of points for them in their championship fight. Won't be enough to, I think, get ahead of the Jordan, but definitely enough to pull away from the Stewarts that were getting close to them.
Jesper Eriksson's just done his personal best. Even though Sam Fitzpatrick did a purple sector 3 on that lap, Jesper's just done his best lap, a 1:24.2. Although Sam did a 1:24.0. That's pole position pace by Sam Fitzpatrick, because I think Kevin did a 1:24.0. Speaking of Kevin, by the way, he has messaged in the YouTube chat and he has said it was his foot was fully in cramp. He tried to stretch it on the straight, but it didn't help. And obviously, you can't brake for 20 laps with a cramped foot. So, absolutely devastated for you, Kevin. We really, really are. And as he said himself, Ed, he just can't catch a break this season.
Really can't. Oh, Matt Hoyland, he's nearly going to break away. He does. The rear end completely breaks on him. Just running a little bit too wide. Kept it pinned, hoping that he'd just be able to power it out. Dropping back behind one of the Saubers, and maybe Martin Kenyon might be able to through as well. How far back is Martin? We'll see. Hoyland.
Just as it got up on the revs.
It doesn't spit across the circuit. I thought it was going to immediately just come across into a path of danger.
Well, to be fair, he did a really good thing there. He kept the steering straight. He didn't, because obviously he's turning left there to correct it. Then he straightens up the steering and he makes sure that that car doesn't go back onto the track. He holds his brakes. He doesn't sort of influence the trajectory of the car. He just makes sure that he keeps it as straight as possible. That's really quick thinking, quick selfless thinking by Matt Hoyland. He's 15 seconds still ahead of Martin Kenyon, though. There's a big old gap between the two. So he's got quite the breathing room there. It is unfortunately one of the more spread out races that we've had in Formula 1. Stuart Clark back into the pit lane, but he did pit on lap 1, so he took a lot of fuel and stuff back then, I think. Just needs that splash and dash now to get to the end. They're only able to take up to 50% of the car's maximum amount of fuel before it will sort of kick them out of the pit lane, so 50% was not enough to get them right to the end. Jesper Eriksson has responded to Sam Fitzpatrick now, though, hasn't he, Ed? 1:24.29 last time, nearly matching his personal best. Sam Fitzpatrick now 1:24.4 with 6 laps to go. The gap is 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think Sam's going to have a bit of a roadblock as well, with traffic potentially affecting his run as you go into this final hairpin. Just going to make sure that Francois is predictable, and again, he just gets held up a little bit through there. That's going to play into Jesper's hands brilliantly. Then Francois will get out of the way with the Benetton right up its gearbox. Let's have a look. Actually, never mind. Over that last lap, Sam Fitzpatrick 4/10 faster.
How is he doing this? Sam is on an absolute mission. He did say, I mean, at the end of last season, he was the sort of second driver at Williams to Cam Dance, who went on to win the championship. Sam is one of the drivers from the reigning team's champions, which are Williams, actually. But he certainly said that he can win a race. He's gone and done that twice this season now. But can he win the title as well? Because this pace is absolutely electric.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, he's still going to reduce or sort of stop Jesper Eriksson running away with it.
Damage limitation, isn't it?
No, 100%. Maybe thinking about what could have been if he nailed qualifying, didn't get involved in that little scrap. We got this scrap currently unfolding. Taylor Adams in the McLaren, fighting back through the field, back up into 8th place where he started the race, as he gets just ahead of Alex Fretwell.
Alex was really keen on squeezing him to the apex there as well. Taylor into the pits now. To be fair, he did pit on lap 1, so that's clearly where the limit of the fuel is. I was just about to compliment the fact that Taylor had managed to get the car back to where he qualified on the grid, back up into 8th position. He's going to take a quick splash and dash for a few seconds worth of fuel, builds up the revs, knows exactly how much he wants, and go. 10 seconds, and Sam Fitzpatrick was, well, that far over to the left there. It said he was in the pits. Half a second almost quicker.
About Chaz, Francois Brandet for Tyrrell up another position.
Yeah.
More points on the board. This could be brilliant for Tyrrell.
Actually, yeah, they could leapfrog Minardi here, despite Minardi having 2 cars in the pits. Francois will be back on that podium, biting the medal and spraying the champagne for another 9th place here. He'll be absolutely buzzing. It has meant as well, with the drop-off from Matt Hoyland, that Ben Childcraft is now in 5th. Christian Rose, what a drive up to 4th place. Jack Reeve going really well still in 3rd position. We really cannot let this slide that Jack is doing a really, really good job tonight. I didn't hear much of him and much from him regarding the penalties and the warnings from Jerez with his shenanigans there, but what a great way to bounce back this has been by Jack. A very tidy race, and he's on for a podium position. Great stuff.
Yeah, really nice from Jack, especially when we saw him involved in a lot of scraps, wasn't it, at Jerez, if I remember rightly. Certainly in the mix, but now it's just been him just really able to flex and show the pace that he has. Again, I think Jerez, it lends itself to those sort of more argy-bargy moments.
Yeah, 100%.
Certainly here tonight, he has been really impressive. So we don't mind, obviously, saying how it is with drivers. If they muck about, we'll say it. But when they have amazing races, we also like to lump on the praise because it's what they deserve. And Jack definitely deserves certainly a big helping of that praise here tonight. Are we going to maybe see Chaz? Jesper Eriksson start to sweat a little bit. He's really having to turn the pace up to keep Sam Fitzpatrick at bay. That last lap, his fastest so far this evening. And still, Sam Fitzpatrick was only a couple tenths slower.
Yeah, it's really impressive pace this by Sam. Really, really impressive. And you've got to wonder what could he have done had he not been involved in that first lap incident. I mean, considering how hard he got hit and how far the car spun down the hill, the fact that he is now 3 laps from the end of this race, less than 3 seconds behind the leader, just shows you how close and competitive Boremula 1 is. He is working overtime behind the wheel of that thing. And let's also point out, in this chase, he has cleared away from Jack Reeve, who was chasing him, by 8 seconds in the last sort of 10 to 15 laps. It really has just disappeared over the horizon. Jack doesn't need to fight for anything here, though. He's going to be happy with a podium and some big points. But yeah, Jesper Eriksson now has just 3 laps left to go here at Donington Park. This is round number 6 in season 3 of the Chaz Draycott Media Boremula 1 World Championship. We hope you're enjoying the show. Thanks as always to Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Bottle of Scotch Racing for the sponsorship of this championship. I almost said for chartering a flight then, because I do flight sim videos where people choose where I fly, and I always thank them for chartering us. No! Francois. It said he was off the track. Didn't like that. But thanks also to Gel Race Aesthetics as well for the original 1997 liveries that formed many of these 98 liveries on these wonderful little Pro Mazda, Star Mazda, Formula Mazdas here on iRacing. And thanks as always to Ed May, who joins me in the commentary box tonight as well. We always have a good laugh. Don't forget we'll have Paul Jeffrey for a round or two towards the end of the season as well. It's good to have the commentary duties shared throughout the season, but this has been quite the anomaly in a Boremula 1 race, hasn't it, Ed? Because there's not been a 19-car train for the lead.
No, there hasn't. It's just been a bit more of an open affair. We did have a little bit of a battle earlier, didn't we, between Jesper Eriksson and Kevin Zemstra. Obviously, your heart goes out to Kevin, who yet again just cannot catch a break, dropping outside of the points there in 17th place. Once more, it's been these two that have been, I think, the class of the field. Yet again, Sam Fitzpatrick having to finish second best to Jesper Eriksson. We've got 2 laps to go now. I think Sam can really reel in that gap that Jesper has been able to build up, shall I say, over the course of the race.
What's
Tell you what, though.
Sorry, go on.
That. No, I was just going to say, over that last lap, Sam Fitzpatrick basically equaling his best of the race. Jesper Eriksson equaling his as well. But still Sam was able to reel in a good sort of 0.5 of a second. And that must be really sort of putting the stress on Jesper, that he's putting out his fastest laps of the race. And yet still, that Benetton inches ever closer.
It's very, very impressive from Sam Fitzpatrick. Let's not forget as well that during qualifying, you know, these guys were 4th and 5th. We highlighted then that these are the only 2 guys that have won races this season. And the top 3 from the grid are either out of the race or, I mean, Lee Aberdeen is the only one still running from the top 3 on the grid, and he's down in 14th position outside of the points. It's pretty remarkable how this race has shaped out through multiple incidents and goings on. But we are about to head on to the final lap here at Donington Park for the British Boar Prix here in season number 3 of the Chaz Draycott Media Boremula 1 World Championship. White flag is in the air. Don't know why. Jesper Eriksson leads it across the line, and he's got 2.8 seconds here, Ed. Surely he can take it slightly easy.
You'd hope so. You'd hope he would be able to, but I think, yes, where he only has one mode, and that is push. He can just keep this consistent, quick pace up from the drop of the green flag to the falling of the checkered, and right now, it seems like that's exactly what Jesper is intended to do. Sam has chucked everything at this race. He's got so much speed, hasn't he, that he's just been really utilising to full effect, but unfortunately, that gap after the pit stops was just too much to try and reclaim.
Lee Aberdeen has done a purple sector 2 on that previous lap, so he's on ultimate pace as well. Really pushing. Let's not forget he qualified on the front row of the grid. There's only a few more corners left now, though, for Jesper Eriksson. Let's not forget, he did not race at Jerez last time out. He used that as his individual drop round for the season, and he has returned here, starting 4th on the grid at Donington Park. Not really breaking any records in qualifying, but he is about to make it his 4th race victory of the season. Around the final corner, clap emojis in chat please for Jesper Eriksson, who takes his 4th win of the campaign here at Donington Park. Sam Fitzpatrick, an epic recovery near the end. Taylor Adams and Francois Brandet are battling for position. These guys are a lap down on the leaders. Jack Reeve is just about to complete an epic podium finish. What a great return for him. Taylor Adams stops Tyrrell overtaking the Minardi team in the championship points, but Francois Brandet gets a top 10. He'll be over the moon. Christian Rose 4th. Ben Chalcraft will be 5th ahead of Matt Hoyland. Hats off to those guys. Great finishes from all of them. And then Martin Kenyon is going to come across the line in 7th place. Jack Reeve, I believe, was doing some donuts or celebrating somehow there. But wow, a bit of a topsy-turvy order here, Ed. This can be a drop round for some and an absolute highlight for others.
It really can. Really impressive evening's worth of racing. Could be a pivotal one in the championship as well. But I'll tell you what, there's some really great stories. I mean, Alex Fretwell, 10 places gained so far this race. He's got just a few more corners to go before we see him over the line.
Nice bit of flying formation here.
Yeah. 2 Stewarts, and good points for Stewart this, isn't it? Alex Fretwell up in 8th place.
Yeah, really good stuff. Great drive indeed. Biggest mover in the field, Alex Fretwell, side by side with his teammate across the line for a photo finish. You've got to love a bit of that. Hats off, boys. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. But Jesper Eriksson, another very impressive race victory. Sam Fitzpatrick, awesome damage limitation. And Jack Reeve, a mega podium. A great drive also from Christian Rose too. He started 10th on the grid in that one. Ended up in 4th position. Ben Chalcraft gets his best result of the season. Matt Hoyland gets 6th. Martin Kenyon 7th. Both Minardis in the points as well. Connor Hatfield 11th. Simon Price gets his first points of the season. I think he's dumbfounded by it and he's come to a stop. He's going to be absolutely buzzing. Francois Brandet as well. A top 10 for Francois. What a week he's having as well. 2 points finishes in a row this week. One in the SRM GT4 Challenge and one here tonight in Boremula 1. Great stuff. I really, considering how sort of bitter and, negative the start was with that large incident, this has got to be a very feel-good moment in the championship.
100%. There is obviously a cloud that was at the start of the race, but that silver lining that came at the end more than made up for it, I think. Wonderful stories. Double points for Minardi, 11th and 12th. Tyrrell getting on the board as well. And then also Jack Reeve, best result of the season. So many drivers getting their best results of the season here tonight. That's
a fantastic bounce back from Jack Reeve as well, having a warning and a penalty from Jerez and a bit of a scrappy race that didn't impress us up here in the commentary box. To come back and have a tidy race like that and get a podium, hats off to Jack. That's really that's one of my performances of the season so far. Sure, he may have been aided by the incident, but you've got to be in it to win it, and you've got to drive the thing yourself, as we say. Jesper Eriksson, though, takes his 4th win of the season. Sam Fitzpatrick, 2nd place, is certainly a mega result. Doesn't tell the full story just seeing him there. What a roller coaster he's had tonight. Jack Reeve, like we said, epic podium for him. Christian Rose, considering he's not very well tonight as well, and he said, I might have to pull over to be sick at one point. 4th place is not bad at all. Ben Chalcraft 5th ahead of Matt Hoyland, his sparring partner for that one. Martin Kenyon finishes in 7th ahead of Alex Fretwell, biggest mover in the field. Taylor Adams was 9th, a lap down, which really shows you how spread out the field was. Francois Brandet gets a top 10 in what has been a brilliant week for him so far. Connor Hatfield 11th, and Simon Price in 12th gets his first points of the season. I know there's going to be a lot of people in the Discord that really enjoy that result. Lee Aberdeen just outside of the point. Scott Philip Miles on the last lap, I think, ahead of John Tusting and Stuart Clark. Kevin Zemstra was unfortunately out of the race, still yet to catch a break this season. Rob Lundgren also out of the race after his big crash into the barriers, and then Ryan Stitchbury and Aaron Smith taken out by the incidents that we saw at the very start of the race. So, who have we got to speak to here, Ed? Because to be honest with you, I imagine we've got a few people to have a quick chat with as we get the music on at least. Bear with me. Well, it is playing. Flipping out. Caught me off guard then. I think it wasn't going to play. Still, I think we're going to have some very interesting chats with some of these guys tonight. We have got a number of them to speak to. First one I want to drag in, though, is the man that won the race, Jesper Eriksson, back after a week off. Jesper, you must be very pleased to have taken the win there. That didn't look easy at all with Sam closing you down.
Oh, I was pleased as heck, especially after that poor qualifying of mine. I didn't get too much practice. I probably got like half an hour practice. Didn't know what track was coming in, but man, I'm happy. The first lap I was quite good to pass out the cars, but it was quite sad seeing the two guys ahead of me crash out so early in the race.
Yeah, it's a shame it went that way, and it really sort of obliterated the field in terms of the rest of the result. But at the end of the day, you still had to work very hard in the late stages there. Were you keeping your eye on the time and keeping your eye on Sam the whole way?
Oh yeah, definitely. In the end there, my fuel calculator like blinked. You need to refuel. You're fine.
Oh no.
So I was like, do I need to save? Can I push? And then I just pushed and heard now that Sam took tires and I didn't. So it was quite stressing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it certainly kept us guessing until the end, but it was a great chase all the same. We go now into, obviously, the second half of the season. You extend your championship lead. Are you going to change your approach a bit? Are you taking it safer in the later stages, or are you just going to keep doing what you're doing?
No, I'm going to push.
Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are.
I'm here for race wins, so
yeah.
I'm not going to... I want to win.
Fair play to you, Jesper. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Of course, first of all, you guys for hosting the events and hosting the streams, and all of the other guys. Sam for being such a good championship rival. It's fun to just chat after the race and all that. So just thank you to all of you guys.
Fantastic. Well, thanks to you as always, Jesper. Great to speak to you, mate. And hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Jesper Eriksson, championship leader still after this round of the championship. He will be over the moon, won't he? To say the least.
All right, Chaz, I was just muted up there, but yeah, that's been a brilliant evening's worth of racing, especially from Jesper. But I've got to say, it's been so exciting to see these two, and again, lovely to hear him thanking Sam for being that rival. But yeah, Jesper going for the wins, as you would expect a champion to do. Absolutely.
And I had to speak to this gentleman to bring him in after this one. Simon Price is with us in the box. Simon, out of all the drivers that must be buzzing tonight, you've got that championship point on the board for Minardi. You must be really, really pleased, mate.
It was not for want of trying, Chaz, believe me.
Oh, I know, mate. I know. We honestly, your persistence and the fact that, even if a race doesn't go your way, the fact that you still keep coming back week after week after week, there's never any absence or anything. We love that from you, and it's great to see the hard work pay off. Like I say, you must be delighted now.
I'm just too stupid to give up, Chaz. That's the problem. I'm trying to be thrilled about it, but I had a jump start, so in a way that was kind of good, because when everyone checked up for the incident going down the hill, I had a bit of a gap, so I was able to pick my way through. And I found myself somewhere 8th, 9th, something like that, and thinking, oh, good, I've got to go through the pits now.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it was just, I was falling off a bit, and I was picking up off tracks all over the place. Pace wasn't quite as good as I would have hoped, but just stuck to it. What more can you do?
That's it. Plugged away and got the points on the board with your teammate ahead of you as well. So double points for Minardi tonight, and obviously with Francois also being in the points, but only one position ahead, you still retain that 1 point advantage over them in the championship. I imagine there'll be baguette and white flag emojis thrown about everywhere, will there?
Now let's clear this up. I have nothing but the deepest respect for Francois. He said some very kind things about me last night at the end of the SRM race. He was really helpful in sort of helping me pick some speed up last night, and I carried over a lot of that to this race, a lot of the sort of techniques and just the general approach, and I felt like my pace was a lot better, and a lot of that's down to Francois' help. So jumping ahead to the thanks, who do you want to thank? Then Francois obviously gets a top billing tonight.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Well, is there anyone else you'd like to thank before we go?
Yeah, you guys, obviously the broadcast is always amazing to watch back, and I guess the rest of the field, because I try my best to get out of the way for the faster guys. I'm pretty sure Lee came past me about 3 times tonight, and I do my best to kind of keep going but get out of the way and not make any mistakes, but luckily I've not had anyone off yet. Let's keep it that way.
Absolutely, mate. Well, great to speak to you as always, though, Simon. Thank you very much. Well done on the championship point, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Simon Price gets a championship point on the board, and you could just hear how buzzing he is with that. And like we've said, it's his persistence and the fact that he's always there with a smile on his face. He's always cracking fantastic jokes in Discord. It really is a highlight to have around, isn't he?
He is. He's great to have on board in everything we do here on Chaz Draycott Media, isn't it? He's a familiar face to the channel, and it is great to have him here, getting those points on the board, double points for Minardi as well. What a great storyline that is this season.
And what a great storyline this is tonight as well. Jack Reeve. Jack, we haven't spoken after I gave you warnings and penalties, so I'm sorry. But you must be possibly one of the happiest drivers after tonight. To come away with a podium after what ended up being a bit of a nightmare at Jerez, you must be buzzing.
I am buzzing indeed. That is one way to put it. Jerez, it was strong. Practiced so hard, and the pace was there. So this week I knew if I practiced the same, the pace would be there. And luckily, I had a bit of luck on my side, granted, but I had good pace as well. So yeah, buzzing.
And it wasn't easy. I mean, you had to fight quite hard against the likes of Matt Hoyland. You had Sam Fitzpatrick coming through the order as well. Christian Rose in the rearview mirror at points. You were definitely under pressure, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely. My plan from the start was to sort of let Sam through. I knew that his pace would be 100% stronger than me, and it's not my race, so I let him through. Granted, with a little mistake, but I let him through and tried to stay on the back. But yeah, unfortunately, the pace wasn't as strong as Sam's today, but nonetheless, still over the moon.
I was going to say, going into the second half of the season, starting off with a podium, how are you feeling about the next couple of races? Are there any circuits that really stand out to you that you're looking forward to?
Well, I think everyone's looking at Long Beach. That's definitely got the target on this bat. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting second half of the season, and yeah, looking forward to it. Just gonna have to practice hard, and what's next? A win, right? Got my podium.
Well, that's the next step up, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Have to wait and see whether we can get that arrows on the top step. But either way, Jack, it's been a fantastic story tonight to see you have that bounce back after Jerez. So hats off to you, mate. And yeah, is there anyone you'd like to give a thanks to?
Just everyone watching. My family downstairs are watching. I think my girlfriend's watching, and yeah, and a massive thank you to you both in the commentary. It's been a great season so far, and looking forward to the rest of it.
It's our pleasure, Jack. Absolutely, and we hope that your girlfriend and the family enjoyed it, and champagne's on them, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you, guys.
No worries. Speak to you soon. Jack Reeve, what a lovely bloke. We haven't had many interviews with Jack before. I think that might be actually our first one, but what a lovely guy, and I mean, rightfully buzzing about tonight. And arrows on the podium. Great stuff.
Yeah, wonderful. Really great to see him get the just reward for all that hard work he's put in. He's definitely taken his racing up to a new level as well. We saw it at Jerez, just a little bit unpolished, but now he's really gotten that nailed down, and I'm so happy for him. He's definitely richly deserved that after everything he's been through. Obviously, sort of a little bit of a telling off, but took it on board, and that's what we want to see, isn't it? The drivers not throwing their toys out the frame, sort of holding their hands up, coming back at it stronger than ever, and show that he's a real force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely is. Very well done to Jack Reeve on his podium, and very well done to Jesper Eriksson on another race victory here in the CDM Formula 1 World Championship. He extends his lead, and we'll see how it all goes to Belgium next time. And no, we're not going to Spa, we are going to Zolder, which I'm very much looking forward to. This has been the Chaz Draycott Media Formula 1 World Championship, though, on Chaz Draycott Media, funnily enough, with me, Chaz Draycott. Thanks very much to Ed May as well for joining me in the commentary box. Always a pleasure. Thank you to Bottle of Scotch Racing and Derbyshire Holiday Homes, the championship sponsors. All the drivers for their fantastic support and their friendly banter behind the scenes, and all of you wonderful people for watching at home. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you in a week's time. Have a good one. Goes to the right, Silas goes to the left, across the line, it's going to be... Which one's it going to be in sixth? Tim's going to get it to the line, he's not going to get it. Oh no, Pete Newman's around.
Pretty tight, Jake Blackwell round the outside, he's going to keep it there, and now he's going to be on the inside. Okay.
Simon Price sees a gap in the middle, decides that no, that would be mental. Big accident, Simon. Cam Dance wins, Silas Craig-Frolic wins, Jake Blackwell wins, Cranstone to take the win, and it's Jesper Eriksson, two-time champion of the CDM Formula 1 World Championship, is Cam Dance. And what a fantastic race. Amazing. Oh my God, I've missed this.